List Daily presents 15 kids you won't believe actually exist. Number 15. Lena Medina. In one of the cases that don't seem medically possible but became all too real, Peruvian Lena Medina became world famous in 1939 when she delivered a son through cesarean at only 5 years of age. While there was no final determination of who the father was, at least Medina seemed to recover well from the certain assault. She was said by Snopes to prefer playing with her dolls as opposed to her own son Gerardo, though that's only natural. Number 14. Tyler Armstrong. On a much more positive note, in 2015, it was reported that this 11-year-old was performing a fundraiser for Duchenne muscular dystrophy research, a disease which kills most people afflicted with it before the age of 25. His really spectacular method was to climb 7 of the world's tallest mountains, starting with Mount Kilimanjaro when he was only 8 years old. You have to admit, that's a better reason for a kid to be doing something too dangerous for most adults than because it's there. Number 13. Karan Singh. If you grew up tall for your age, you know how much resentment you have to deal with from all the short kids with issues about it. So imagine how much guff this 7-year-old Indian can look forward to receiving after growing so tall so early that at the age of 5, he was already the tallest child his age in recorded history. It becomes a bit more understandable when you consider that his father was about 6.5 feet tall and his mother slightly over 7. Number 12. Charlotte Garside. On the other end of the spectrum from Karan Singh is the person from Withersea, United Kingdom. At age 5 in 2013, she was 27 inches tall, not much taller than a cereal box. Still, the Huffington Post reports that she has been living a pretty full, relatively normal life. She's attended regular school and has even gone horse riding. Number 11. The Bangladesh Miracle Child. Tragically, not all stories of persons suffering from birth defects can be overcome. One such unfortunate was this girl born in Bangladesh in 2015. Although she supposedly drew admiration from locals as some sort of supernatural being, she lived for only 1 week. Even before her passing, her father Jamal Mia bemoaned that he would not be able to afford to treat her condition properly. He wasn't even available to afford to put her in a public cemetery without a donation from the hospital. Number 10. Alex Simpson. This 10-year-old's condition seems less survivable than the previous child's, but as of January 2016, she was still alive despite lacking most of her brain. KETV reported that she had only a 10% chance of surviving to term, and even then, her family could only hope she would last 6 months. Alex is reportedly aware enough to such an extent that she can empathize with the emotions of the people around her. Number 9. Allison Anderwald. This girl surprised the world when at the age of 5 in March 2016, she saved her mother Tracy from drowning in their pool in Corpus Christi, Texas, after her mother suffered a seizure. Allison pulled her mother into the shallow end and lifted her head out of the water before she would very likely have drowned. The situation arose because Tracy did not have a history of experiencing seizures, so this particular attack came completely out of the blue. Number 8. Daisy Ashford. Daisy Ashford may not have looked like an out-of-the-ordinary Victorian-era girl, but by age 9, she had already achieved something that would make her pretty much unprecedented in literary history. She wrote a novel called The Young Visitors, a comedy which she later published as an adult in 1919. The resulting book was both widely acclaimed and a popular seller. Even Christopher Paolini of Aragon fame looks like a late bloomer for not writing a bestseller until he was 17. Number 7. Sherlyn Lee. Not too many people get to set mathematical records when their age is still in the single digits. Asia One reported that at the age of 5, she answered a series of figure additions of 10-digit numbers faster than any human ever had before in 2010, except for one Albert Como, who was 38 when he set the world record. Video from Singapore Now showed that she could add numbers faster than most people could enter them on a calculator. Number 6. Jonathan Lebed. Not all kids use their exceptional qualities for good. This stock market whiz got into stock trading after taking part in a mock stock market contest in school in 1997 at the age of 13. He soon took the natural jump from manipulating the stock market to using false identities on online trading forums to develop interest in cheap stocks that he invested heavily in, and thus artificially inflating his stock values before selling them off. It sounds simple, but it netted him as much as $74,000 a day. But before you go out and try it yourself, do bear in mind he was caught by age 16. On second thought, maybe he isn't such a good example to convince people not to do this, since the case was settled after he surrendered only $245,000, leaving him with $500,000 on the condition that he would never trade again. Number 5. Thomas Suarez. Developing iPhone apps is still big business, but few are jumping on it with quite the vigor that Thomas Suarez did when he was only 9. After spending a $99 subsidy, i.e. getting his parents to buy him some app developing software, he had 4 of them out when he was only 12. He made enough money from the pay apps that he gave a lecture at the famous TED Talk series. Number 4. Ryan Kelly. Kelly is another case of a child making tens of thousands of dollars at an age younger than most people get their first paycheck. But instead of the more lucrative sounding businesses of gaming the stock market and developing apps, Kelly went into baking when he was in elementary school, specifically baking treats for dogs. That might sound like a total dud, but he grossed $100,000 from it, and when he was 12, founded a company devoted to it called Rise Ruffery. He was enough of a success to be the youngest person ever featured on the popular TV program Shark Tank. Number 3. Kia PK. You can see a lot of kids trying to dance on YouTube, if you want, but this Hawaiian hip-hop performer was so good that a video of her dancing with her choreographer got 2 million views in only 24 hours when she was only age 8. As a direct result, she was a featured performer on the daytime talk show Ellen. All in all, amazing for someone with only 4 years of training that started only a few years after she learned to walk. Number 2. Luis Esquivel Jr. While Sherlyn Lee was a record setter in terms of solving addition problems at incredible speeds, this 5-year-old got to show an audience of tens of millions his much more diverse skill set when he went on Little Big Shots in April 2016. He was able to calculate the square roots of triple-digit numbers instantly, read off numbers in the quintillions, while many adults don't even know what number set comes after trillions, and knows obscure atomic weights and numbers. Coincidentally, like Kia PK, he happens to be Hawaiian. On a more significant note, his father has told the public that he is making sure not to devote too much energy encouraging his son to learn more, emphasizing that his child would be better off developing social skills in addition to his extremely good memory. Number 1. Liam Hoekstra. Want to feel really insecure? Try comparing your fitness to a literal 3-year-old toddler from Roosevelt Park who has a myostatin condition that allows him to convert much more protein than normal, allowing him to be amazingly strong and pumped for someone who weighed only 30 pounds. For an example of this condition in an animal, check out Wendy on our article about unbelievable pets. He first became known in 2009, and now that he's about 10 years old, it's become much more obvious how extremely developed his muscles are. If this seems just like a dream come true, if he lets his body fat percent get too low, it could damage his circulatory, immune, and nervous system.